Most people believe the underworld is a place you fall into, a punishment, a darkness you pray never finds you. But what if that isn't true? What if the underworld is not a place, but a moment in your life? The moment when something is taken from you, your innocence, your certainty, the person you thought you were. And suddenly, the world you knew closes behind you. There is no path back, no way to return to the life you had yesterday, only a question waiting in the dark. When you are forced into a world you never chose, do you spend your life trying to escape it, or do you become something else entirely? Because sometimes the most terrifying transformation in a human life is not becoming the victim of darkness. It is discovering that you can rule it. Long before anyone tried to explain the darkness inside the human mind, the ancient Greeks told a story about a girl who disappeared. Not died, not exiled, disappeared. One moment she was walking through a field of flowers. The next, the earth itself opened beneath her feet. No warning, no escape. And in a single breath, the world above, the world of light, closed behind her. The girl's name was Persephone. But the strange part of this story isn't how she vanished. Stories of abduction are common in ancient myths. What makes this story unsettling is what happened after, because the place she was taken to was not just a prison, it was a kingdom ruled by the most feared god in the ancient world, Hades, Lord of the dead, master of the unseen. And the moment Persephone crossed into his realm, something irreversible began, not just in the world of the gods, but in the world of humans, because from that day forward, the earth itself would start to die. But to understand why the world began to wither, we have to return to the moment everything changed, to the quiet field, where Persephone picked a single flower and unknowingly opened the door to the underworld. That day began like any other. The sky was bright, a soft wind moved gently through the grass, and the field where Persephone wandered was filled with wild flowers. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but in ancient myths, catastrophe rarely arrives with noise. It begins in silence. Persephone bent down to pick a flower said to be more beautiful than any other in the world. But what she did not know was that this flower was never meant to be touched. The earth had been keeping it. And the moment her fingers brushed its petals, something shifted. The ground trembled, not a small tremor, a deep rupture that tore the peaceful field apart. And from that opening in the earth, something rose from the darkness below, a black chariot, horses breathing mist into the air, and a presence so heavy that even the gods spoke of it with fear. It was Hades, ruler of the dead, lord of the unseen world. But Hades had not come for war. He had come for something far more specific. He had come for Persephone. Everything happened in a single moment. A hand reached from the darkness. Persephone barely had time to breathe, and before anyone around her understood what was happening, she was gone. The earth closed again. The field grew quiet. The flowers continued swaying in the wind, as if nothing had happened at all. But deep beneath the world of the living, a story had just begun, a story that would change the fate of the earth itself, because the girl taken to the underworld was never meant to remain the girl who had walked among the flowers. And no one yet knew that a single choice in the realm of darkness would one day change the seasons of the world forever. For a moment the world did not notice what had happened. The wind still moved through the fields, the rivers still followed their ancient paths, and the sun still climbed slowly across the sky. But one being felt the absence immediately. Demeter, goddess of the harvest, keeper of the earth's living breath. She did not see the abduction. She did not witness the earth open. But something inside her shifted, a silence where her daughter's presence had always been. And that silence was unbearable. So Demeter began to search. At first she searched the valleys, calling Persephone's name across hills and forests. No answer. Then she searched the rivers and the mountains. Still nothing. Days passed, then weeks. And slowly, the grief of a goddess began to change the world. Because Demeter was not only a mother, she was the force that allowed life to grow. The soil listened to her, the seeds obeyed her, The forests breathed because she allowed them to, and now she no longer cared. The fields stopped growing. The crops began to fail. Green slowly faded from the earth, and the first signs of famine appeared among humans. At first, no one understood why, but the gods began to worry, because if Demeter refused to restore life to the earth, humanity itself would disappear, and if humans vanished, the power of the gods would begin to fade with them. So the gods started asking a dangerous question. What had happened to Persephone? And more importantly, who had taken her? Because the answer to that question would soon shake the heavens themselves. The answer did not remain hidden for long, because there are no secrets that stay buried forever, not even in the underworld. A whisper began to spread among the gods. A name, Hades. At first, no one wanted to say it out loud, because to accuse the ruler of the dead was to invite a conflict no god truly wanted. But the truth has a way of forcing itself into the light, and soon even Zeus could no longer ignore what had happened. The king of the gods, ruler of the sky, the one who had the power to end this. But power does not make decisions easy, because this was not just a matter of right or wrong, it was a matter of balance. If he forced Hades to return Persephone, he would challenge the authority of the underworld. But if he did nothing, the world above would slowly die, and with it, everything the gods depended on. So Zeus made a decision, one that would reshape the fate of all three worlds. He would send a messenger to the place no living being willingly enters, to the kingdom of shadows, to bring Persephone back. But there was something Zeus did not yet know, something no one had told him, because while the gods argued above, far below them, Persephone was no longer the same. At first she had been afraid, alone in a world without sunlight, a world where silence felt alive. But fear does not last forever, and darkness has a strange way of changing those who remain in it, because the longer you stay in the underworld, the more it begins to feel like it belongs to you. And slowly, something inside Persephone began to shift, not into weakness, but into something far more dangerous, understanding, because the underworld was not just a prison, it was a throne. And the moment Persephone realized that, everything changed. But there was still one rule she did not fully understand, one law that could not be broken. And before she ever had the chance to leave that world, she would make a choice, a small choice, a simple act, one that would bind her to the underworld forever. Time moves differently in the underworld. There is no sunrise, no reminder of the world above, only silence and the feeling of being watched. Persephone had stopped counting the days, because days no longer existed, only moments. And in one of those moments, Hades returned, not with force, not with chains, but with something far more subtle, an offering, a pomegranate, small, silent, harmless, or so it seemed. He did not command her, he did not threaten her, he simply placed it before her and waited. Because in the underworld, choice is the most dangerous thing of all. Persephone hesitated, just for a moment, but sometimes a moment is enough to change everything. She reached out, her fingers touched the fruit, and then she tasted it, sweet, dark, irreversible. And in that single act, the boundary between worlds was broken, because the law was absolute. Whoever consumes the food of the underworld belongs to it, not for a moment, not by chance, but by fate. And in that quiet, almost invisible decision, Persephone sealed her own destiny. She would return, but she would never truly leave. And just like that, the story could have ended there. A girl taken, a choice made, a fate sealed. But this was never just a story about the underworld, because what happened to Persephone was not unique. It was inevitable, because at some point in life, everyone is taken to a place they never chose, and in that place, they are forced to decide who they will become. This is where the myth ends, but this is exactly where our story begins, because the underworld was never just a place. It was a transformation, not forced, but completed by a choice. And that is what makes this story unsettling. Not that Persephone was taken, but that she stayed, that she ate, that part of her accepted that world. Because we like to believe that we would always choose the light, that we would resist, that we would find a way back. But the truth is more complicated. Because darkness does not always feel like a prison. Sometimes it feels like understanding, like control, like becoming something stronger than you were before. And that is the real question this story leaves us with. When life pulls you into a place you never wanted to be, what will you become there? A prisoner trying to escape, or someone who learns to belong? Some call it fate, some call it a choice, but maybe the truth is simpler than both. You don't become who you are in the light. You become who you are in the moment you stop trying to leave the dark. So tell me, was she a victim of the underworld or its queen?